Welcome back. It's time for yin. So go ahead, grab your block, grab your strap, and let's meet on the floor. We're going to start in Sukhasana, a comfortable, easy seated position of your choice. If you need to, you can be sitting on your block, even for Sukhasana. Let's make our way to our mats. Just gonna thank you for your snacks, Fred. I'm just gonna dump them off my mat. Grab two of the same size blocks and meet you on the floor. So if you find that you came into a seated position and your knees are all the way up towards your chest, sitting up on a block can help you to already find a little bit more of a gentle opening of your hips. I prefer easy pose, which is really bringing my legs in nice and close. That might not be the what works for you. So maybe your feet are a little bit more staggered. Maybe you want to already have both legs open. We're going to come into half dragonfly in just a moment or two. But wherever you are, settle yourself down. I like to really shake a little side to side, make sure I'm noticing both sit bones on the floor, and then start to come into your breath without even making any sort of changes, without judgment or expectation. Begin on your inhale to notice how and where your body might be feeling some stress. Are your shoulders creeping all the way up towards your ears? Is there tension in your upper back? Upper back tension, so I've recently discovered, is where we tend to hold a lot of grief and sadness in our upper back if you're feeling discomfort. When we're feeling angry or frustrated, we tend to hold a lot of that in the lower back. So just notice how and where you're feeling today. A big love to yourself for showing up. It's the hardest part. And even if you just spend these next 45 minutes or less than that, breathing, I hope that you're going to feel so much better. Start to take notice of how deep your breaths are. Can you slow down your inhale? Maybe even a little press of your tongue to the top of your mouth, maybe to the back of your teeth, and begin to enjoy some ujjayi breathing, a slight constriction of your throat, even a gentle snoring sensation. Inhaling in through your nose and keeping your mouth closed, exhaling out through your nose. When we breathe in through our nose instead of our lungs, it gives us another opportunity to just purify the air, be a lot more relaxing, a little bit slower. So start to find some heaviness of your elbows towards the floor. Maybe your chest even lifts a little bit taller, prouder. We have a couple breaths left here. If you want to set an intention for today's practice, it's a beautiful time to do so, whether there's a positive affirmation that you choose to reflect upon for yourself, or if you want to send some energy out to someone else, begin to bring that into your mind, into your heart. I'm focusing right now on the positive affirmation of I deserve to be happy. I am enough. There is no one better to be than myself. And if any or all of that resonated with you, I hope you'll take it into your practice as well. Let's come on into half dragonfly. So your left leg can stay folded in, right leg goes out. Maybe you even take a little rotation from the hip side to side. Ground both sit bones down on the floor. And if you're feeling really tight, hands can come behind you. If you're feeling a little bit more flexible, fingers can come in front of you. Once your shoulders come ahead of your hips, if you want to take some rounding, maybe you even intentionally want more of a stretch in your upper back instead of your leg and your focus on the rounding. Otherwise, keep the intention of the stretch in your leg, possibly feeling it on your inner thigh groin, possibly feeling it big time in your hamstring. The more that your toes are flexed towards your face, the more you're going to feel the stretch. But feel free to take as much relaxation in your feet and feel free to use your props if your hands feel far from the floor, wherever the floor is. perhaps you rest upon them. We've got about 1 minute left here. Remember, throughout today's practice, breath is your number one focus. So don't take a stretch that's so deep that you find you have to limit your breath. If you're slowing your breath down, that's great. But to increase our flexibility, we have to be a little bit relaxed when you're holding your breath. We tend to enter a little bit more fight or flight mode. When you can breathe through the stretch, that's when you're going to create the relaxations, openings. As you're ready, we're going to switch our legs. So right leg is going to fold in, left leg is going to extend out. Maybe once again, a little rotation from your hips. Find where the stretch feels best for you today. Remember that every day is different. Every side is different. So you might be able to take a deeper stretch on one side than the other. Both sides do not need to look the same. Find that one spot to relax your eyes. If your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So a little quiet in the breath, a little quiet in the body. And if you're having trouble finding that one space to relax your eyes, just close. Also, a great time to remind you that it's normal if even while you're creating your stillness, if your body like trembles a little, if there's some shaking, if we finish a posture and you feel a little bit of a buzzing, don't be scared. It's a wonderful thing. That is your body really taking in and starting to create these changes. You know, for a lot of these lower body stretches, especially because I'm so tight. I took a class yesterday where my left toes wiggled and shook the entire time. Awesome. Next up, we're going to come into a bound angle. So bringing the soles of both feet together and allowing your knees to fall out wide. You might even need to walk, wiggle your glutes, your hips back a little bit. If the outer edges of your thighs and your calves touch the floor, fantastic. And if they don't touch the floor, that's what blocks are for. So whether you're just sliding your blocks underneath, maybe you're placing your blocks at an angle. You can also round forward a bit, perhaps interlacing your fingers underneath of your feet. Finding a gentle just pull of your pinky toes upward can also help you to open your hips. Elbows can come towards your thighs, or if you're not using your blocks, elbows can come towards your blocks to help you apply a little bit more pressure if the inner thighs feel far. Hands can be behind you, hands can be in front of you. Take as much rounding as you want, starting to elongate the length of our stretches. We're here for 2 more minutes from right now. So find your breath, keep the focus in your hip opening. Feel free to relax your back, take some rounding, relax your head. Find a place, whether it's your hands or your blocks, possibly even place your head. If you are in any sort of a forward fold here, really send your big breaths to the back side of your body. Can you create expansion in your backside ribs as your lungs and diaphragm fill? Slow and steady breath, 1 minute left. If you are in a forward fold, draw your belly in, protect your back, lift yourself up nice and slow. We're going to send both legs out long, and we're going to take a straight leg spine twist. Go ahead and walk your hips back one and then the other, and really lift your chest. You can take a gentle little bend in your knees if your hamstrings are unhappy, or sit yourself back up on a block for this one as well. Chest nice and lifted. Let's start with the right hand back by the base of the spine. If you can get your palm down to the floor, great. If it feels really far, maybe you bring a block to play. Push down through your fingers, lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Before you even turn your head, turn through your chest and shoulders. And then on your next exhale, look over your right shoulder as much as possible. So you're really lifted here. Chest is coming through and forward, and then you're open. So you're almost even externally rotating the shoulders. So instead of that same internal rotation that we tend to get while we're typing and whatnot, where everything collapses in, we're rotating out, almost like you're putting your arms around your friends' backs for a picture, but your hands are on the floor. Keep your lower belly pulled in, support for the back. We got a couple breaths left. Find length through your spine on your next inhale. On your exhale, turn your head, turn your heart back to center. Inhale, find your lift. Left hand comes behind your back. Already start opening your shoulders and chest. Right hand comes to the outside of your left thigh if you can. And then exhale, turn twist and loop over your left shoulder. Still doing your best to externally rotate the shoulders, recognizing that it might be easier on one side than the other. Really work to create that lifted length, and then enjoy whatever twist that you can, as opposed to twisting a lot, but really rounding through your back and losing quite a bit of the stretch that you can enjoy, while also creating the actual length in your spine. Stretch up through the crown of your head, chin neutral to the floor. Eye gaze might even be to the upper back left corner. So where your eyes go, your body follows, but keep that length in your spine. Keep chin neutral to your chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Last few breaths. Inhale, find length through the crown of your head again. Exhale, hand comes away from the back and it's kickstand. Turn towards the front. We're going to bend knees generously. Hands come down to the floor behind you. Um, Fingers can point in whatever direction that they want. On your next inhale, lift yourself up for a little bit of a bridge pose. Really squeeze your glutes, drive hips up towards the ceiling. Eye gaze can be wherever feels good. Maybe you're looking forward in the direction of your knees. Maybe you can look up towards the ceiling. Maybe you can open your throat a little, look towards the back of the room. We're going to take 3 slow breaths of your own pace here. So start those 3 breaths. When you get to your third exhale, you're going to carefully lower, release yourself down. In the meantime, squeeze your glutes, drive your hips a little bit higher. Nice little hip opener. And presuming that we're at that third exhale, slowly lower yourself down. We're coming back into Sukhasana, into easy pose. So crossing your legs once again. Well, let's take another little twist. So much love for our spines quickly. Right hand comes. Oh, wait, no, let's actually walk our hands in front of us and then walk your hands over to the right. Ooh, draw your left shoulder forward. Just in case you really missed that stretch in your upper back from the last spine twist. Create as much length as you can from your left shoulder, which is coming towards your right knee, all the way down to that left sit bone. Notice if your left sit bone was trying to lift up off of the floor. Go ahead, press it back down. We got one more minute right here. Big, slow, deep breaths. Awesome. You can start to decrease the twist in your shoulders, slowly turning towards the front, walking yourself all the way to the left side. Hands can be side by side. Maybe your right hand touches or holds your left hand. Draw your right shoulder towards the left knee. Press your right sit bone down to the floor. Enjoy this delightful twist. This is going to be our last seated posture. As you're ready, slowly start to walk your hands back through to center. Bring them a little forward and pull yourself up. Come onto your knees. Hands, palms come underneath of your chest. Spread your fingers really nice and wide. Hips stack on top of your knees and start with some cat cows. Find any motion that you want right here. Explore the stretch that we might not have made in today's practice, but that your body wants or needs. You can move at any pace that you want to. Maybe you're shaking your hips a lot side to side. Maybe you're focusing on a little bit more of your shoulder stretches. We're going to have our longest hold of the day coming up next, a nice 4 minute child's pose. However, if you would like to enjoy a little bit more cat cow for longer before you start your child's pose and just enjoy less of the child's pose, you're welcome to. When you're ready, you can open your knees wider if you'd like. You can keep your knees narrow for a little bit more pressure on your belly. Send your glutes back to your heels. You can walk your hands forward. You can keep your arms bent. You can release your arms all the way back to your feet. If you want to even take a gentle little twist of your neck, I'll let you know when we're halfway through so you can switch to the other direction. But otherwise, we're enjoying a nice inversion. You bring a little pressure even of your head towards the floor.
Imagine or create with every exhale that little bit more of relaxation, extra length, especially low back. Perhaps belly comes more to thighs. Glutes stretch more towards your heels. If you have your head turned to one side, carefully turn to the opposite side so you can get an even stretch throughout your neck. We are halfway through. If your hands were towards the back of the mat or not extended forward, let's begin to extend arms forward to the top of the mat, palms facing down. Eye gaze comes up to the fingers, and then we're going to pull ourselves forward. Two options right here. You can slink your belly down to the floor, elbows underneath of your armpits. You can have your feet open as wide as you want, tops of the feet down on the floor for a little sphinx. If you want a little bit more, hands palms where your elbows were, press yourself up. Again, externally rotating the shoulders, chest comes forward, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Thighs can even lift up off of the mat for a little up dog. I am tired and up dog does not feel good today, so I'm coming back down into the Sphinx. We got 1 minute left. If your head feels really heavy, if you're in Sphinx, chin towards the floor. Good. Keep that upper back engaged. You know, it might be starting to get a little tired in the stretch. We got just a couple breaths left.
Making a change a little easier if you're in up dog. You're going to roll over your toes and send your hips up. For some down dog, if you're in Sphinx, we're going to walk our hands in. Chest might come down towards the floor. Tuck your toes under, press yourself up, and then send yourself back. You can shorten your stance as much as you want or need. Belly coming towards thighs, biceps in line with your ears, hands palms down on the floor. Engage your lats down your back just a little bit. Gentle bend in your elbows, creases shining towards each other. And then you can pedal through your heel, take some movement if you would like, or just hang out in your stillness, find your breath again. We are here for 2 amazing minutes. We'll bring the timer, so we're actually just here for 2 minutes. If this down dog is not serving you for the final minute, if you need to release your knees back down to the floor and take a child's pose, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can think towards that generous bending your knees here. Belly can really be on thighs for some support. Keep that upper back engaged a little. Last few long, deep breaths in your down dog. Great. Go ahead and release your knees back down to the floor. Untuck your toes. You can cross your legs over if you want. I'm going to walk my knees up. We're making our way onto our glutes, onto our backs, however you need to do so. Go for it. We're going to bring our strap with us to continue with these delightful stretches for our legs, but while relaxing our spine. Once you make it down to the floor, go ahead, bend both of your knees, soles of the feet flat on the floor. Grab hold of your strap. I like to make a loop at the bottom of my strap so that I have as much length as possible. So you can just take your strap close to the metal part and press it through. Bam! Now there's a loop for your foot and lots of space for your arm to hold the strap. Put the strap on your right leg and send your right leg up towards the sky. We got a little big toe stretch. I know it's tempting to have your hands all the way up towards your foot, but that's going to activate a lot of the back. And we're focusing on stretching the legs. So can you release your hands closer down to the mat? Maybe you're holding on with just one hand. Maybe triceps are on the floor. You can have a bend in your knee if you need to. If you want more, bring your arms up overhead. Bring that strap up overhead. Back of the arms, back of the hands come to the floor. And if you want more, then you can extend your left leg nice and long. We're here for 3 fantastic minutes. If you came into a stretch, if you extended that left leg long and it put too much of a demand on your right hamstring, bring the bend back to the leg. Remember, we want to work to create as much stillness as possible. So better to be in a little less depth of your stretch where your breath is flowing than coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out, or noticing that you're holding your breath. Can you even relax more of your back? 1 minute left. Notice if you've rolled at all to the right side and can you relax more of the left side, low back, hip towards the floor. And then get ready to take another big stretch of your inner thigh groin. You can keep your left leg straight. You might want to bend your left knee, clamshell the leg open. I feel like with the knee bent and leg clamshell open, you're even going to get more stretch. I like to bring my hands a little bit more in line with the foot, and your foot does not have to go down very far. Maybe it does open really wide. Maybe it's really uncomfortable and you bring a block. You can always place a block somewhere under your thigh to help support you in this hip opener. Because we're here for a total of 3 minutes. Kind of long, kind of long. Remember, there's no pressure to be at any certain depth. You're meeting yourself where you need to be. And maybe that's more than it was in the past, or maybe that's less in some things. That's the real challenge, just accepting what your body does today and finding your breath. If you set a positive intention for the day, can you bring it back into your heart? And if you didn't set one, maybe it's a good time to do so. Final minute right here. Knowing that we're closer to the end, can you even relax your upper body? More pressure of the back of your head to the floor, maybe an extra centimeter of your shoulders touches the mat. Maybe one more vertebrae makes contact. And maybe it's one thing at a time, but as you continue to return to your breath, inhale, notice what changed, and exhale, bring space. Awesome. On your inhale, you can use your strap or your inner thigh strength to bring that right leg up. Let's take the strap off of our foot, release the right foot down to the floor. Take a moment, windshield wipe your legs right and left. Maybe even notice, maybe it's obvious, maybe it's not, any differences in the right side body with those extra little stretches that we just did. And then go ahead, bring your right foot in line with your right hip. That is your left knee. Bring the strap on top of your left leg and send that left leg high to the sky. Allow your hands to relax down your strap closer to the mat. Maybe your arms stay right by your side, or maybe they go up overhead. There can be that generous bend in your knee. Really work to keep both sides of your low back on the floor. I love to bring the strap up overhead. For me, that's most relaxing. A gentle little stretch in the chest also for funsies. Come back to the one spot to relax your eyes or close them. Enjoy the delightful sounds of Fred playing with a box. Less than a minute to go. Can you find a little more heaviness of every point of contact with the mat? As you're ready, go ahead, open that left leg nice and wide. Remember, you can bend the right knee. You can keep the right knee straight. You can use a block under your leg. And I'm feeling real tight, especially on this side.
Less than a minute to go. Last few breaths. Create that extra relaxation, knowing that you're close to the end. You don't need to intensify the stretch anymore. Can you just relax or maybe make your exhale a little bit longer? And on your next inhale, bring that left leg back up to the sky. Bend your left knee. Remove the strap from your foot. Drop both knees up towards your chest. Pull them all the way in towards your chest. Wrap your arms over your legs. Maybe you can grab hold of your other finger. Maybe you can just have a hand on your chin, but cross the back of your head. Give yourself a double, triple chin for a second. Squeeze your inner thighs, knees in towards each other. Stretch your shoulders away from your ears. Look down for that mustard stain on your chest, for the knees. One more big inhale, giving yourself such an amazing hug. One last deep stretch into the hips. And then exhale, release. Send your legs out nice and long, straight. Coming into our final Savasana, create your stillness. Palms facing up towards the ceiling, heels touch, toes fall open. Create as much length space between your arms, your legs as feels right for you. Close your eyes, especially if they've been open the whole time. Sink back into your room. This is the time that you're allowing your practice to really sink into your body, your blood flow to return to normal. Some of the stretches that we do, uh, the compression postures and whatnot, we're cutting off the blood flow or circulation. And then when you open up, especially back in the Savasana, you allow blood flow to return to normal, which is easiest when your arms are close by your side, when your heels are closer together. That's when we can really make changes to our body. This last posture is so not a throwaway posture. It's where the healing really happens. Oh, your Fred's having a really good time over there, so I do apologize if her happy box banging is a bit loud. Well, good news, bad news is that's all the time that we have for today. I don't know about you, but I felt like today's practice went by so quickly. I'm going to encourage you to stay here down on the floor for the final Savasana for a little bit longer. Think of a number between 1 and 10. Can you commit to not moving for that many breaths? Until we are together again, I hope you'll take time every day and make time for yourself. Think good words, eat good foods, do good deeds, nourish yourself from the inside out. Fill your own cup and spill out for those that you find worthy. Take time every day to inhale and notice how you feel, what serves you, and exhale, try to let go of anything that does not, thoughts, feelings,
stress. One day, one breath at a time. May this next breath be the one where all positive change happens. All we can do is be hopeful and try. Thank you so much for coming and joining me for today's practice. If no one has told you today, you are special and you're worth it and you're worthy, and there's no one better to be than you, and you deserve to be happy. And taking and making this time for yourself is the first step to really carving that road to feeling good, simply showing up. As always, the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. So thank you for taking part in some of my energy, and thank you for putting your positive vibes out there. So I look forward to meeting you back on our mats again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your practice and an even better rest of your day. Namaste.